No Child Left Behind, as it currently stands, is a flawed piece of legislation. While it was passed in 2001 with bipartisan support, where people on both sides of the aisle were excited about the changes that it would make, I feel like it's pushed us from one extreme to the other. Yes, before this legislation was passed, some schools were free to do whatever they wanted, meaning they could teach whatever content they wanted, and they weren't being held accountable, and students weren't making gains. But now we're at the other end, where teachers are now playing the game, where schools are playing the game, meaning that they do whatever it takes to get their students to do as well as they can just on that test. Curriculum is now becoming narrower, meaning that teachers only teach what is exactly going to be on the test. As a result, science, social studies programs, and also some art programs are being cut, because those aren't going to be on the test, so therefore, why are we going to spend our time and energies planning and implementing instruction in those areas? I see that at my school each and every day. We're told from administrators at the district level to our school level that you teach reading and math. If you get the others in, great. If you don't, it's okay. You still got reading and math in. And I think that there's a real problem with that. Students in America now aren't getting a balanced education in all of the areas that people my age used to when they were in school. Now, what's great about the reauthorization of the No Child Left Behind Act is that standards are going to be revised and reworked, and also there's going to be less of an emphasis on standardized tests, which I'm really excited about, because my students are now completing their 9th out of 11th full day of testing. The kids in my class are 8-year-olds. They cannot withstand this much testing. They're burnt out, they're tired, they're frustrated. I had 2 students on Tuesday have to be removed from the testing site because they were crying upset. They did not want to try. I had another girl yesterday simply bubble in a full page of answers. She hadn't even read a single question. What's good about the reauthorization, as I said, is that some of those standardized tests are going to be taken away. They're going to be reformed, and also there's going to be less of an emphasis on those tests. They're going to look at other things in the classroom to evaluate whether or not a school is performing and whether a teacher is doing an adequate job. The other thing that I'm really excited about is the fact that they're actually going to pull resources into better equipping teachers for the practice of teaching. We need to get really highly qualified people into the classrooms who are going to make a difference in the lives of the children in the United States, and also who are committed and focused to being inventive, to being imaginative, and figuring out how to get all of the content in and how to foster a love of learning into the lives of each and every one of their students. I also love that with this reauthorization, we're actually going to start funding what it is that works instead of funding those programs rather that may not necessarily work, but let's give them a little bit more time to see if they are successful. The other thing that I'm excited about is that we're actually going to be giving money for making improvements. Instead of funding being taken away for those schools that aren't performing, money is going to be given to schools that actually are performing, given really an incentive to improve and make gains in all areas. So the reauthorization, I think, is going to help to change and modify legislation that wasn't perfect to start with, but legislation that did help to spark a movement of educational reform in the United States.